All right, I am here live with Stepan Resl from Legoland, right? You're at Legoland, right?
Yeah. Hello, Chris. Yeah, I'm now in a Legoland here in a balloon because I was there on a Power BI Next Step conference. And yeah, I'm calling to you just from the Legoland hotel with all the bricks all around.
Wow, that is straight up the coolest thing in the imaginable. I found another reason though to be bitter with Apple is because apparently you can't unblur your background. I would love to see that in more detail. So Apple. Well, Stefan, thank you so much for joining me. We got started working together, I think almost like 2 years ago, maybe even 3, somewhere in that neighborhood. You had a brilliant idea for, well, why don't you go and explain what it is you did that and how we got working together? Oh, you're on mute. Oh, oh, oh. Well, Stefan is sorting that out. Here he comes. We seem to be having a challenge.
Yeah, finally you can hear me.
Yes.
Sorry for a little issue. Local Wi-Fi dropped down, so I had to switch for data. First, I would like to say thanks for having me here, and it's excellent cooperation with you because before 2 years ago, I just come up with idea to start something called Power BI cheat sheet that should be for developers, from developers, and it should be just a regular page that can give overhead for anyone or a head start for anyone who would like to start using Power BI. And I remember the moment when you find it out on the internet and wrote me, hey, you're preparing this? That's awesome. I need to make it more public.
Yeah.
And it starts the wheel. It was intense. It was insane, to be honest, when we was starting to translating into the other languages, preparing other pages for DAX, for Power Query, one even for data modeling that is currently only in English, and it's only because of me, I know, because I already have at myself translations for the Spanish and for French, so I'm so sorry for everyone, especially for waiting, but hopefully I will be able to get to them, because meanwhile, I was preparing something else with my team, and hopefully we will be able to get to that today.
Yes. Well, fingers crossed. I shared the link inside the chat to your to the cheat sheets because honestly, you shared it on LinkedIn, and then I shared it out like, oh hey, this is incredible, and it went to like 1,500 people or something like that liked it on LinkedIn. And I gotta tell you, you don't get that type of like response when you post 99% of things on LinkedIn is to have 1,500 people like and share your content. It was like, holy cow, this was a huge deal, right? So, we've created these cheat sheets. I'm hosting a website. We've got them all out there. They are all for free. They're all at, because, like you said, and why they're so valuable is they are from developers, for people who's doing the work. So just excellent work there, Stefan. And that is why I'm so excited that you're here, because it's that perspective of how you work and interact with people that I think leads us to that next, the topic of today, which is Power BI training. And while we're doing that, before we get into that, I want to do a little shout out to the people that have tuned in. So, Donald, thanks for chiming in. And yes, I'm really excited to be looking at. I'm not going to say it yet, but what Stepan has to talk about today. Really excited about that. Greg, Jamie, really great to see you. Greg, camera does a lot to make me look better. So we're still on the upward trend there, or hoping to head up. So excited to be here though. But yes, let's talk about the importance of not just training our developers when it comes to Power BI, but what was the issue or gap that you saw when it came to training people in Power BI? This is genius. So like everyone, be prepared to clip this and send this out. I just know it.
Okay. If we would train someone to use a Power BI, we are mostly training the developers to be able to prepare the reports. But we are forgetting on very specific part of the audience, the end users, all of them. The end users should be able to really work with these reports and be able to understand what's inside. And because Power BI combines some functions that wasn't there before, because most of these users are the Excel users. So they know mostly how to write a simple formula in a formula language. They mostly know how to use a pivot table, but when they click on a chart and all other charts start highlighting, filtering, and especially if on the same page are some cards that do nothing, they will go crazy. They don't know what's happening all around. And to be honest, in that case, they will go out of a Power BI and they would like never gonna back. Why? Because they will be scared. And that's because we should train them also in some way how they can see what you are capable to do in Power BI and directly try it. Because if they will not try it and just watch some kind of video, what they will remember, just 10% of that.
Right.
So if you let them really feel.
Hang on one second here. Well, I mean, I honestly, you really deserve a round of applause for coming up with this. I think this is just so perfect. We need to be able to be training our users how to interact and use this tool, because it's not just the developers who are now interacting with it, but if we've done it right, it's all the people in our organization. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, because I heard from many people that why to teach anything the end users? We should build a report they will be able directly use. Okay, but in that case, we have to be able to use only features they previously know. If they don't know these features and we will use them inside, they will be confused. They will not know what's happening.
Yep. No, you're spot on. How do we take them to that next level if we can't train them up? And if our consumers are just external customers, maybe that's an acceptable bar. Maybe. But if we're talking about employees that work in our company, to say, hey, here's an analytical tool that is at your disposal to do powerful things with. I mean, a degree of training is reasonable, right? Like we're not talking, it's not a 4-year degree program that you're proposing, right? You're talking about something much, much lighter. And that's why exactly. I'm excited about this. And
I think we can all imagine one thing. The word that is all around, it's a self-service. how you can properly build self-service in any organization if no one will know how to use it. So, because of that, we've been working on something that's called, let's name it like a reporTee.
Oh, okay.
It's our little robot, our little British gentleman that will went you through the Power BI report and shows you how everything works. And it will show you directly inside the Power BI, directly in your Power BI service. So you don't have to go anywhere. You will already have it inside. So you can anytime go back and find what you're missing and what's really happening. And yeah, we are really talking about the much lighter lessons, much lighter topics of what slices we have, of how highlight works, or even for some specific topics like personalized visuals that can be really powerful in self-service. Really.
Well, all right. Hang on a second. I hear what you're saying. You're describing this well. But I don't understand how this could possibly work or what this would look like inside of Power BI. Do you actually have something you could show us on this?
Yeah. Give me a moment. I will share the screen and you can just tell me if you really can see my screen.
We can.
So before you can see our reportee. This is our British gentleman. This is our robot. That is built for it. As you can see, we are inside the Power BI service. Now it's nothing else. Really Power BI service, and this is just the app. Even it's a Power BI app without audiences yet. So it's saying that blue, so some kind of blue text, is for theoretical explanation and task. Green to explain what happened before you, if something happens. And yellow means that the path is closed. As I can see it, I'm ready to jump right into the reporting. So I will click on the menu. I will be sent to another page where I am able to see that I've already fulfilled everything.
Hold
this
on.
Is the cockpit. Huh?
Is this Power BI?
This is Power BI. This is nothing else.
Get the French toast out of here.
This is just a Power BI if someone took very long hours on the designing and planning how everything should work. But in this moment, everything is done. So you can see that I have everything fulfilled on 100%. So I will try to switch into the different Power BI service. Once again, click on Ready. And here I have just 91% because if we would like to do any training, we would like to know if anyone already fulfilled the chapter. It's the key. If we will make gamification for the peoples to be able to find out these challenges that are inside and complete and solve them, then they will be much more, it will be much more pleasurable for them to went through. And if I will switch on another page, you can see that I have here one part that is missing from fulfillment there. It's called personalized visuals, and it's really complex task because not many end users already know how to use. So let me show you how reporTee can really help. So I will go for a start. By the way, this is not a video. Everything is now just downloading and selecting. So I hope the local Wi-Fi will be able to take it because, yeah, I'm just in a hotel. I'm not on a normal Wi-Fi where everything works perfectly. But before you can see that every person perceives and likes to read visual their way. That's what reportee says. There, every time you can find some specification inside. So let's jump onto another slide. So show me, and reportee starts describing the story behind it. So you can personalize any desired visual by hovering over the visual and clicking on an icon that appears in a upper right corner. It's even taken out, and of course, personalized visual feature will be available if it's enabled by report owner. So we're also warning that not every time you can see this function. I've switched to another page where I can see how personal visualization will look like inside, and it's show me how it really works. So I will go for a continue, and I can see that even here it showed how the charts will be changed. So because thanks to that the green color appears. But if I will went through few more slides where everything is described very detailedly, I will get into the task where you can see my button is waiting for the answer. So, okay, click on this icon, I will click. Another box will appear. So, okay, just a continue. But now the real challenge comes. Here's the playground. For a recap, hover over the visual and select option to personalize this visual. If you lost, go back and review the chapter again. Practice makes perfect. To continue, pick any visualization which you wish and change it to show the count of a customer by a gender. Then click on a female category. So let's try it. I will hover on the visual, click on personal visuals, and change from x-axis from department on a gender. Everything will be recalculated, and because it's the first time when I've ever used the bookmarks, this small window will appear. But first, reportee wants me to click on a female, so I will click on them. Oh, well done. Okay, I will go to another slide, and then appears what personal bookmarks are for. So even this is described here inside the reportee. So, okay, got it. And if I will continue, I can finish what is before me. I will click on finish, everything is saving. I've received it, it's saved. And if it's really saved, I can go to the menu and to be able to see that really does. Everything is now completed. I have 100% in a bar, and also my personalized visuals is finished. Even the icon inside has changed.
Wow. That's incredible. So now you could train up everyone inside your organization as to how to effectively use any report that's built inside of Power BI. So
yeah,
you're not talking about not just training people on, those handful of reports that exist at an enterprise level. You're talking about training users to consume any Power BI content.
Exactly.
Wow.
And one potential issue that you can see is that not everyone really prefer using English, especially for me. When I'm not from English-speaking country, I'm from a Czech Republic, small country in the middle of Europe. We have our own language that is very special, and reportee counts on that it's bilingual. You can add any language that you want inside. In this moment, I will click and everything in a report will be changed into the Czech language. So in this moment, přizpůsobení vizuálů is the chapter we've already finished. And on another click, I can switch back to the English. It's simple like that.
And so you're saying I can upload as many of these languages as necessary for my organization. So
Yes.
if I need, English, Spanish, Hindi, Japanese, Russian, and French, I could do
Yeah.
that?
You can do that.
Holy cow. I mean, that really opens up the door for global worldwide training of a tool that, while we go, hey, Power BI's been out for like 7-10 years, something like that, that doesn't mean people have actually, there's so many people that are just starting to use it today, right? That this is incredible. So
And in this moment, you can see there are some chapters already before you. So already you can learn these end users, how reports look like, the buttons, their interactions and what they can do, slices, interactions between visuals, zoom, tables and matrices, how to filter them, how to expand them, sorting, drill through, drill downs, export, even the personalized visualizations, and we're working on them all. That's just something that I would like to add.
wow, this is incredible. Now, can you explain to me, how does this work? How do you track this? How do you get this in?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would jump into the PowerPoint if you wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, please. Great.
Because I have there some slides that can help me to explain it. Cool. This was a first architecture design that we've come up with. Originally, we've been thinking about the normal data set with row level security to be able to just see my own content if I'm fulfilling something or not. Up on that, of course, will be the report where users will be consuming. Okay, it has a lot of flies around. Because if you want to use the data set to be able to write inside, you need something where to really write this, and especially when you want to make updates at these languages, etc. So we've prepared a SQL server under it that is in direct query mode, communication against the data set, is returning the data for the report. So this was a second phase where we prepared the SQL server, and we was looking for how we can really write our data back into the database to find out who fulfilled which path when. We had there 3 different options.
Hang on. Go back. You went too fast there. You're telling me you have a write back capability inside of reporTee to allow you to track users' activity inside of the tooling, so you can judge and rate a user's progress through their training cycle inside of here?
We can track the progress, what they've finished, when, and for some specific chapters, we can track that they're fulfilled part of the progress. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that is a huge opportunity when it comes to training and access. A lot of companies want, like, okay, hey, your first 90 days, you've got to make sure that you've completed these trainings. This would allow for oversight to, not just, they completed something on Learn and nobody knows about it, but it would be right there. Oh, wow, that's incredible.
And even imagine something else. You already have an employee at your company, and he asked you what's happening inside the report when he clicked somewhere. Why would you be explaining it if you already have this inside your tenant? You will just send him the link for a reportee. Hey, find it here. That's done. It's everything. Because in that case, he can find any information about it inside, so you don't have to explain it again.
That is incredible. Incredible.
So can I now go how we was
Yes,
deciding?
please keep going. Yeah. Go on to the next one. Yeah.
We was deciding how to track the progress. We was thinking about using the Power App.
Yeah.
To be honest, it has lots of flaws in this moment, like the scaling and reaction rate. So Power Apps was from the game, especially because not every customer need to have them. Power Automate was another option. So Power Automate runs in asynchronous mode. So if I will send him a task and then another task, it depends just on its role somewhere behind the whole algorithm, which will be delivered first. And sometimes it's not finished after a second as previously, but after 2 minutes. So it's unstable for this. The last option was prepare our own visual for that. And to be honest, it was the easiest way from these previous two to do.
Really?
But
Really?
still, yeah, it was, because to be honest, building custom visual is, if you have a good developer, of course, if you're a good developer, then it can be done slightly quickly. And I would say we have one really good one. So he made it really good.
Oh, that's great, man.
Especially when you don't need some specific functions for that. In this moment, in just sending data outside. So yeah, it works. But after we've selected that we would like to use one of these, first, of course, we tried the Power Automate because we don't want to prepare custom visual from scratch at the beginning. We've tried it, really. From the report, we've tried to call a flow and write it into the SQL database. Not just the latency and that it was unstable, but Power Automate Visual has another issue. It doesn't support conditional formatting for text that you would like to show on a button. And in that case, for us, it's unusable because we really wanted reporTee be bilingual. We really wanted to be able to change any part inside the Power BI to any language. So because of that, we was looking for another variant. And for us, the final solution is through the logic apps, because logic apps are much more stable, incredibly fast. And we can call them same as the Power Automate, so by HTTP endpoint, and by our custom visual that we prepare. So because of that, we start using the logic apps and everything starts working. And even because of that, we've tried to fulfill another need of a company. And it's needs of L&D. Because L&D would like to know who already fulfilled their paths. And I would like to show you that we already have this report already inside the reporTee ready for use.
Well, it's like you read my mind. I
will go into the Power BI service.
And to be honest, to all the viewers, I have not seen this demo as of yet. I did not know this. I'm not paid by Stepan for any of this. I have common challenges and needs for these types of activities inside my organization and in the companies I work with and talk to. So that's why I'm asking this. And it looks like someone is a few steps ahead of me. Just a few, you know.
So sometimes it happens. In this moment, we have their L&D report that can be thankfully by the audiences finally shown only to exact audience that should really see that. And if I would jump right into the overview of an L&D report, you can see that there should be 6 users that already start doing this training. On the right side, you can see only 3 of them. I know because of some laws, I had to 3 of them hide. That's why you can see only 3. You can see how many topics already have been done, completed this month, and average completion of all the topics, because I fulfilled the last one just few minutes before, and this L&D report is refreshed on a daily basis. So tomorrow I will be able to see here one and different average completion. I can see progress statistics and how many users in exact topics already fulfilled. So if I will find out that no one is really looking on export data inside the reportee, I can ask them why. I can finally aim for that. If it's because it's not used widely in organization, or no one really wants that, or admin is blocking these downloads. There are many cases, but this can help you to find out the point, what's really happening inside. Also, the months in the years when someone finished some topics, even the new users, finished users. And previously, there were few people that already finished everything. But last month, we've published the new version with the personalized visualization that I showed you. And thanks to that, I can see that Miroslav Jeshinsky has progress on 92%. He didn't finish the last topic that we just added. And because of that, and because of Power BI API, especially the execute query one, I can be querying for these users to directly send them message in their teams to set them that something changed inside the reportee and they should fulfill it, the new chapters.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
But, by the way, maybe one thing come up in your mind, and that's okay. Once I will went through the whole process of a reporting, I should have some kind of playground where I can try anything that was inside the report. And exactly because
well, that's
of that,
brilliant. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, here is practice report that can be assigned on the data of any company. So if you want to have it inside your company or anyone else, we can upload inside your data. So users will be using your data that they already know. And try everything like a drill up, drill down. Even if I will click on some kind of month, even drill through to be able to see how the report really will behave. That's also a report.
Wow. Hang on. Go back. I'm sorry. My wheels are churning here as I'm thinking about this stuff. So, the challenge that people often have is they look at data, and when it's not theirs, they don't earn. It's just mishmash, right? They barely understand their data,
Yeah.
but they do understand their data. So you're saying, like,
Yeah.
we could add in all of our companies, like, product types, it looks like here, and different lines, and bring in our metrics and our numbers so that it's relevant to their day-to-day jobs. We could feed that all in, and they could come in and take this test.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you separate that out so that I don't want to give you my data, right? You know, I don't want Like I want reporting to run with my data, but I don't want to give it to you. How do I feed this data without me giving data to use?
We have two different models for a reporting.
Okay.
One is for the enterprises, where we will build that SQL Server or deploy that SQL Server inside your Azure. We will there also deploy that logic apps, and it's completely under your control. We will just pushing updates. In that case, it's just up to you what you will put inside, but also we would provide you some CSV template where you can load your data, and we will show you how to and in which tables you should upload it. So we will not get to your data. It's completely under your control.
That's fantastic.
The other mode that we've been just preparing, but you already can find some info about it on reporTee website, is a mode for SMBs. So it's mostly for medium or smart or medium or small companies, where we will be providing reporting directly into their Power BI service by external sharing that just show up in latest Power BI update. By the way, that's something that we just seen, and it was absolutely gorgeous for this purpose.
Sure.
And in that case, we will be communicating with these companies how to combine this practice report inside. Because easiest way would be use these data that already are inside. But yeah, exactly as you said, sometimes it's okay. It's for most of the people, it's hard to understand even their data and not some data that are shown in some kind of report. So in that cases, we will be providing the parts of a report of a reportee to be able for people to create their own app from that. And we will be providing the template of a practice report itself, so they can store it in their own data set.
This is fantastic, man. I mean, this is really great.
I'm glad that you like it.
So, yeah, let's go back to your PowerPoint and keep going with the presentation. I have more questions, but let's keep this going.
I will just go with this one. Yeah, the final architecture, how it now look like, is this one. You can see that we have there some kind of SQL Server and logic app that we are able to deploy to your Azure. Of course, we have there some kind of template. There's just Excel icon, but it can be Excel. It can be JSON, can it be Parquet, CSV? It just depends. That will be used only, and really only for one report and one data set, which is the practice report. And of course, there is one data set from a SQL Server for L&Ds. That's why it's divided like that. And because of audiences inside the app, it's nothing easier to assign the security group for L&Ds to be able to assign, to be able to view these reports.
Well, good, because we'd want to make sure that we can protect that, right? Like,
yes,
not everyone should see everyone's status on an update, right?
Exactly. Some few other words about the reporting. Reporting is unique for everyone. Each report is unique because it trains the management of a report directly on your data. That's why we've added the practice report, and that's why we're trying to show the possibilities of Power BI reports separately on very general use cases that are easy to understand. of course, reportee is on a watch. He keeps and watch every track and your progress to be able to say, hey, you finally did it, you finished every chapter, or hey, do you know that we've updated something inside, and it would be really great to go back and look on it, like years ago when into the date slices we received the relative date and relative time. So it can really make an impact for people. He's slightly hard worker because reportee regularly studies news on really the daily basis, looking for if something changed anywhere around the Power BI to be able to deliver to you the news directly inside in the app to start adopting your end users as soon as possible. We're providing these updates on a quarterly basis, where we're fixing sometimes something on the background, but mostly we're adding new chapters. Like now we're working on another chapter that will be focused on AI visualizations. So it will be very huge chapter, especially because of a key influencer visual.
Sure.
So definitely stay tuned. And of course, sharing is a caring. So reportee updates the training program and informs you immediately that something changed. It's quite efficient because went through whole reportee. It's about 30 minutes only. So it's just up to you if you will take it on a one spot, or if you will go there few times and just fulfill the path that you need. But still, it's just 30 minutes. It's really quick to find out how it really works. And of course, it's communicative. As I said, reportee can talk in many languages. In this moment, Czech and English, but we are already preparing a few another languages to be directly inside.
So this is fantastic. I'm a big fan. Let's talk about how do I get it? Let's say I wanted it. Do I pay you in pesos? Do you take pizzas or beer? What's the currency, or how do we bring this in?
The easiest way is to went to a website called reportee. I'm sorry, but it's on a CZ domain. So reportee.cz/en if you would like to have it in English. And here, if I will go down, of course, you can find there more interesting pictures from reportee itself. Of course, some demo where you can see even the yellow inside the reports. So if someone progressed a little bit in the slices, I can find it here. If something update, it's green. But if I will go just down, you can find the pricing. The pricing of a premium is mostly for the enterprises, really. But in that case, it's for unlimited user. And it's per year, if you will recalculate. So
Okay.
In that case, you can see every single aspect that is inside. So of course you can switch it, but mostly it's shown in dollars. For Czech Republic, we also set up the CZ key, so Czech rounds. And you can write us down by this form. You can write us down here and we will contact you. So it's the easiest way. And then it really depends on your governance around the technology, because some companies doesn't support the logic apps. In that case, yeah, we can provide you the Power Apps Power Automate version, but we strongly recommend to use the logic app version.
Yeah, I would I would honestly recommend the Logic App version too for the reasons that you stated. So this makes great sense, and for an enterprise-wide training that would be available to everyone that allow you to track an L&D and stuff, 15,000 is a drop in the bucket for a lot of these large companies. Oh, I'm sorry, was it 7,000?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like it went 50% off since I said it, so that's great. For 8,000.
Yeah, it's recalculated to be $15.84 per user per year. It's recalculated on
Oh, for 500 users.
users.
Okay.
But
That's not a flat rate.
Yeah. It's recalculated on a 500 to understand how it works.
Okay.
But in that case, we don't care if you will publish it on 1,000 or 10,000 people. It's just recalculated the price.
I got it. This is fantastic. What feedback have your clients given to you on this already? Because I know you have this in place at a number of places. What is that?
I think we shouldn't name that. But,
not the name. What feedback have they given you? What's?
Yeah. Originally, one of the feedback was adding the export data. So it was the one of the chapter that was added right after the feedback from a user. Then we've adding not just L&D report, the overview itself, but also they would like to see the logs that is also now added inside. And we're now in inactive availability of Germany and French inside, but we're working on it because it's on the feedback list also.
Sure. And Donald has a question. He wanted to know, is the pricing per user or per active user?
Good question. It's per user.
It's per user. Okay.
Yeah. You're buying a license for, let's say, 25 users. So who you will assign that, it's up to you. But in that case, once they will went inside and fulfilled first part of reporting, any part, doesn't have to be the first, but from our perspective, the first part, since that we have it inside the database and we can count it.
All right. And if you're talking about investing in your training and your education inside your organization, especially as, you look at the investment you're making already, this can really make a lot of sense. So this is fantastic. What's next for reporTee?
In this moment, we're planning to, as I already said, preparing new chapters. We're about to prepare some, let's say, guidance how to implement the practice report, because in this moment we have write it down, but write it in more generic way. Also, how to set up in your company the audience for L&D. So more guidance around this. And also we will be changing this bar, because if I would tell you how we made this bar, you wouldn't believe me.
How did you make the bar?
It's matrix visual.
What?
With incredibly complex measure under it that is using zeros, eights, dots, and slash to precisely recalculate the size for numbers of a chapter that's already inside the reportee and design these places.
Oh, that's funny.
So we will be changing it by a DNET visual, and that's something that is already in progress.
Wow, that is fantastic. And Donald does bring up a good point. The cost of this is less than a single training session for a single user, and now you get training
Yes.
for your entire company, as well as, and this is where I think it's more important, is that you're talking about being able to track that training inside your organization, to be able to measure success and measure how people are using it. And that's something that is really hard to do, especially if you have, like, okay, you got people going to all these different places to get training. How do you track that they actually completed them and know what's going on? That is fantastic.
And that gets me to one last point, what we are aiming for with the reportee in the future, and that's adding something that will generate a certificate after you fulfill the whole report, and it will send that certificate directly to your email. So it would be one more step to make it more or into the gamification. Also, there should be appearing if you will have 100% little trophy.
Well, that would be awesome, right?
Yeah, and it will be. It's in a plan.
That's awesome. Well, the more we can gamify our training and the more we can gamify an experience, honestly, I think the better it is. That is just fantastic.
By the way, for this feedback about the trophy, I really have to thank the Kurt from Data Goblins, because he had some time to look on it, and this was one of his points. So we really appreciate it. Count it, write it down, and working on it for next update.
Yeah, Data Goblins is another great one. I should see if I can get him on the live stream, but I know it's late over there for you guys. So what time is it there?
0:52 now.
0:52. Wow. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. I honestly, I really like this. Now tell me about your company. Do you do consulting as well, or are you full time on this? What's your, what is the aspect of it?
We are Power BI consultants, and because we're also doing some trainings on a Power Query, on data storytelling inside the Power BI, on a measure, on the DAX, and etc. We've been coming across very often that end users are not able to using the report. That even was really greatly by UX generated, but after the reportee, it went really better. So we prepared it for that, to be able to help our customers, and we've opened the gates for anyone who would like to use it. But yeah, mostly we're doing Power BI consultancy.
Well, that's fantastic. So the reason I bring that up is what we can clearly see here is the degree of polish and professionalism that your company is capable of doing. So for people who are watching the stream or are rewatching it at a later date, if you're like, wow, this is awesome, but I would really like something else, it sounds like you might be able to help them bring this level of quality and this level of analytics to other aspects of a business. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can. We are mostly, as I mentioned, focusing on a Power BI, but in a combination with a consultancy, especially on a business. So
sure.
Yeah, let's say it like that. It would be easiest.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic, man. Um, well, I'm blown away by this. I think this is just a fabulous option when it comes to getting training and feedback and tracking that and advancing people inside the space. Now that you've actually this brings me up. Now that you've seen the updates that are about to come to Power BI when it comes to interactions and visual layout, how quickly are we going to see an update to reporTee based upon all this new functionality?
it will strongly depends when they will arrive. I think we all know that something is coming. On a Twitter, it's blurring more and more. First, what we were able to see was last week on a BI summit. This week, from Power BI Next Step, we were able to see more. And when I saw it, first what came up in my mind was, oh hell, let's start rebuilding reporting. But yeah, after they will publish it, we need to get it into the reporting as soon as possible. So I think in 3 months it would be possible to get it all inside. So in one of our next updates, it will be there.
Well, that's fantastic. Um, you know, I'm honestly I'm blown away by this. Thank you so much, for taking the time to come on, show the world what can be done with reportee, show people how to get in touch with you, which is the website reportee.cz/en/ which is in the chat already. I'll post that again in case someone is missing that or missed that. There we go. That's in the chat. And people can find you on LinkedIn, I know. You're on Twitter.
Yep.
Any other places
Yep.
where people can go to find you, Stefan?
GitHub.
GitHub. What?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm very frequently on a GitHub, especially working on some of my repositories, where I'm building some stuff around the Power Query.
Wow.
So
Okay.
if you will give me a moment, I will just quickly open it and I can show it also.
Sure.
Yep. So share once again. Okay. I think now you're able to see. I have my own GitHub where you can find some of my repositories. Like, okay, I will jump up. No, I want really up. Okay, now I've published Power BI Admin REST API custom connector that can anyone use to build reports directly from Power BI REST API. It also contains some specific API calls that are not quite supported, but you're able to use them. Let's say like a call for receiving all the gateways that you have in a tenant, including the personal ones.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
I have there the list of Power Query API functions for Power Query with
Hang on,
all
go
the
back.
call limit.
Go back. What's the Power BI LinkedIn post one? Does that work?
It works. It's my post that I have on LinkedIn.
Yeah?
So if I will open it, I will just simply went on the post that I have on LinkedIn.
Was it just yours, or couldn't you use it for any posts?
I can use it for any post, but in this moment, it's
Okay.
just stashed for my own post.
All right. Good enough.
And also, there's one PowerShell that I needed previously for multi-generating the scorecards. It was before we were able to multi-modify scorecards at once. So I've prepared one with every setup, every rule. And by this PowerShell, I've generated, let's say, 50 times. Just depends on how much I need them. Even send them to different scorecard.
Wow. Well.
And some my M custom functions that I have here.
Well, Stepan, it looks like this could almost be a completely new live stream. So, thank you for ending on a high note. I appreciate all of the links that you've shared are in the chat. So if you're watching this or rewatching this, you've seen those links come through. Stepan, thank you so very much for taking time out of your day and joining us here on the live stream. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it, especially the talk with you. And I hope we will be able to talk again very soon.
Agreed. And thank you. Oh, hold on a second here. Let me get over to my head. Thank you, everyone who's decided to hop in, spend an hour with me and Stepan going through reporTee, talking about these concepts inside of Power BI, talking about how do we train users on different concepts. It's a subject that's near and dear to my heart because I think it's only through making sure that data is accessible and usable by people do we really enable them to become more, to reach for that next level. And it's through this types of training education that makes that possible. So I absolutely love this topic. Stepan, thank you for creating this. Thank you for joining in and watching this. And next week, I've got Win Hopkins. Yes, the Win Hopkins. He's going to be talking about, and I hope Karan is still on, because next week we're going to be talking about Power BI for the Excel developer, and how you use Power BI and Excel. It's Win Hopkins' latest, greatest book that's just out, available on Amazon and all sorts of places. I don't have a link for that. I'll get you a link. But we're going to be talking about that subject because I think that's another thing that takes people from where they're at, right? We have like millions of people that know Excel and use it daily, right? Show them how they can just shift into Power BI mode and start to use the capabilities that are out there. And I'm super excited about that conversation as well. So thank you guys all so very much for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Stepan, you need to get some sleep because you got a train and a plane to catch. And I am sorry for having kept you up so late. All right. Peace out.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.